Morning, everybody. Welcome to another Traffic Talk special. Little on the low side, obviously, as I'm about to cover two huge draws in both European competitions. I've been peer pressured into it after last week's shenanigans in the Champions League, but this is pretty much going to be a very long and extended morning show, split into two. One will be the Champions League, and one will be the Europa League. The reason why we're doing the Champions League is because everyone on this channel and our platform is very jealous to find out who we could have played in the last 16 in place of RB Leipzig. At the same time, it's a bit of a summer morning here, and I want to use this opportunity to send my regards and well wishes to Gerard Houlier's family, who passed away this morning at the age of 73, an iconic manager in the game who did so much for Liverpool and Lyon and Aston Villa, making Liverpool one of the more serial winners of trophies in the early millennium, and was a long-time stalwart for Liverpool in the early 2000s. I remember that UEFA Cup final in 2001, a fantastic final, one of the more incredible games of football that I've seen between them and Deportivo Alaves. And he brought some fantastic European games as well as manager Liverpool. And Aston Villa, in fact, for a little while. So, obviously, he also managed France and Lyon, winning the league in France with Lyon in 2003, I believe it was, after leaving Liverpool. So he had such a strong and hard belief with the team, and giving players like Owen, McManaman, and even in the early years, the likes of Sidney Govou and Florent Malouda. There's so many to name. I wish I could tick them off all day, but he passed away at the age of 73 this morning, and I would like, on behalf of all of us here, to send our regards to his family and loved ones, those who were closest to him, everyone who played underneath him or worked with him. He was a wonderful man. He was a kind gentleman, and football's a poorer place without him. So, back to the task at hand, of course. Here we are doing this morning because, again, everyone who's involved with the channel wants to know who we could have played. And because we're all football fans, we'd love to know what team will be taking on the other. We have such a strong 16 in this stage of the Champions League. And I personally think we might be given one big match to get our teeth into. So I look forward to that. I'm going to be fiddling with the banners as well. There's some little things that will flash across the screen when the draw starts. So I'm looking to see what happens this morning, and hopefully this will go smoothly. I have asked everyone in the house not to make a lot of noise because it is early in the morning. Normally it's quite a bustly area, this house, and the area around as well. But I hope we can get some really good draws. If you want to pass on your sixth sense and ask me questions about Man United or anything regarding today's draw, who you think you could win the Champions League, we're going to be focusing on that in the first draw. We'll send them in on the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So we are 7 minutes away from the start of the draw. You ever like to take very long with these sort of occasions where they talk us through the technicalities and everything. Where if Russian teams, Ukrainian teams they can't play each other, stuff like that. So I'm watching it through my phone because my laptop is putting all its power into bringing the stream to you. But it's best that I give you a rough idea of who I think should win this competition. You can't see anyone passing by easily, as they're the defending champions this year, and really the team to beat, having secured a fantastic treble last season in amongst all the troubled challenges the pandemic gave football. They overcame the rest and won the competitions. They're easily the favourites this time once again. Who could come close to them, though? Well, Real Madrid, 13-time winners, scraping through on the final match day after a really tough group with the likes of Shakhtar, Mönchengladbach, who also qualified, and Inter Milan, who didn't get out of the group at all, not even making it into the Europa League
finishing bottom on Wednesday night against Shakhtar, drawing 0-0. Very, very surprising result. Three of our former players are there. One we loved a little bit. The other two are not so popular. Messrs. Young, Sanchez, and Lukaku. They all had a hand in the elimination, and it's all league football for Conte now. But I'm staggered they didn't get anything from that game against Shakhtar. They should have been at best a Europa League team. They didn't get out of the group. And sure enough, here we are now. So, the other contender I think you would to consider, while they are not playing very well and need to be taken seriously, even by just the fact they don't have their best team at the moment, and have been humiliated in the Champions League already in 2020. Barcelona, minus a few of their old stalwarts, ninth in La Liga, but will probably under Koeman, who's not really found the best of their team yet, will still want to get them through the Champions League knockout phase and try to get Barca further than the quarterfinals. Barcelona were humiliated in the quarterfinals last time after Bayern ripped them apart in Lisbon 8-2. What was pretty much a scintillating display of dominance and fantastic football from the German champions that night. Barcelona looked a shadow of the team that used to dominate the Champions League in the late noughties, early 10s, winning 3 of the competitions in the space of 6 years, pretty much running away with the competition when teams struggled in front of them. There are some underdogs too. Just bear with me. Yes, I'm a little bit ill today, so please forgive me. I am fighting a few bits of lurgy to get through this, but it's going to be a long one, so you've got to stick with me here. But we have all sorts of underdogs to look out for. The conquerors of Man United in the group, RB Leipzig, are certainly a team to watch. They got to the semi-finals last season, along with fellow German side Bayern, and with the 2 French teams in Lyon and Paris Saint-Germain. Lyon not here this year, obviously. They didn't make it into the competition after poor league form last season when the season in France was curtailed. So 3 of the 4 semi-finalists are in this group, in this draw. Atalanta, who got out of the group on the last night after beating Ajax by a 0-0, and I think really that victory in Anfield a few weeks ago secured their spot in the last 16. A really great performance from them on match day 5. Sure enough, they are here again. They got to the quarterfinals last season as well. So it's sort of a bit of a repeat this time. Serial Europa League winners Sevilla are also in this draw. They won't be defending their title this year as they got through to the last 16. What I believe it's the third time they've done this since winning the Europa League. So they have done it the hard way in the past, but hopefully this time we'll see them go that one step further than the quarterfinals. I believe that's their best in the Champions League in the last 10 years. They've struggled to a defeat. They struggled in the last 2 previous appearances in the competition. The group stage elimination in 2015, helping them win their next Europa League, and then the season before that, they won the Europa League but didn't get into the Champions League as they hadn't thought of the idea yet. So they will be a team to watch. They have done it before. They did it to United last season and have been more or less, they've dominated the Europa League, but the Champions League is a big kettle of fish. So one to look out for. I'd say I'm also keeping an eye on Mönchengladbach, who scored a bundle of goals in the group stage and really were fortunate to get through to the last 16 after losing 2-0 in Madrid in a very interesting game, but relied on the other result in Italy to get through to the last 16. The players all huddled around the bench and everything. It was a lovely sight when they saw the final whistle go in San Siro. Celebrations all over Valdebebas where Real Madrid are currently playing. Real Madrid themselves, as I said, perennial winners. There certainly is a great field. There's some great teams here. I'd love to tell you more about all of them with the draw coming up. So, Atletico Madrid, my favourites possibly to win La Liga, the way things are going. Sociedad are a great team, but they look like they're going to might win La Liga this season for the second time in 6 years. So, pretty good, You never know what could happen. Leipzig, I said already. Porto did very well in Man City's group, winning in the 5 games that they got. I think they lost the 1 against City as well. They did very well. I think they've got they've got some good players there. They've got some talent in the team. So more or less, you more or less could see some quality there too. And the Lazio, Ciro Immobile, top player. What a talent he is. He's European Golden Boot for 2019-20. He also has such a really good finishing ability, such passion as well in the team. He's captain of Lazio. I'd say he's someone to keep an eye on as well. Coming up to 11, not very long to go now. I hope we can see the draw. I'm waiting for it to appear on the screen in front of me. We're watching it in England. I'm watching BT, which is probably not the best choice, but they still have quite a decent set of people there today. Quite mixed group of people, all of them who have played in the competition. Not much Glenn Hoddle, though. Never got to play in the European Cup. Hargreaves and McManaman did, so that's an interesting sight. Still waiting on the draws to take place. It hits 11 now. It should hopefully cross over to Neon. Socially distanced, of course. Nobody's there because of the awful way things are going with the pandemic, and no club officials are allowed at the venues. They used to have people all over the place there back in the day. Okie, we should see the draw any moment now. There we go. So they're showing us that magical trophy once again. And trophy that United are not going to win this season, sadly. The way the draw works, if you're wondering, for those who are the most savvy, is clubs who are in the group who played each other in the group stage can't meet again. So, say for example, Chelsea and Sevilla got out of their group first and second. They can't meet in the last 16. But also, as they're just going to do some video review of the group stage, but also you can't play teams from the same country in the last 16 either. You can only do that from the quarterfinals onwards. So each side who've drawn themselves today will have a select number of teams to play against. Novakit's got his prediction. He says Barca versus Borussia Dortmund. Barca to win 8-2 in the final. Okay, nice prediction. It's a bold one. I think we'll see some quality football there. Murali says hi. Nice to see you, Murali. Nice to have the YouTube gang sticking with us this morning. Well, our view, of course. We're just waiting for them to do that magic. Have they done that video yet? They haven't done it yet. It's a long time. I don't know how long are these pageantry sort of things that they get through? Some sort of delay or whatever. Now they're playing the video. It took them a lot longer than I thought it would. Where are we at now? Best part, still 5 minutes or so till they actually start the draw. Showing us all the teams that got through. Atalanta there, great team. I love Alejandro Gomez. He could leave as well. Apparently in the next transfer window, he's made it clear this morning he has intentions to leave the club. Atletico Madrid, I said they're favorites to win La Liga, could go far in the Champions League. Barcelona, Messi and friends, they need to get their act together and do better than last season. Champions Bayern, it's just a great team. Hansi Flick's really got them playing football properly again, and I'd watch out for them at best. Borussia Dortmund sacks Lucien Favre this weekend. Trust me, I was surprised the way they lost to a really good Stuttgart team. So big surprise there. Mönchengladbach, who are in the knockout stage for the first time. Marco Rose has just taken the Dortmund job as well. Chelsea won the group and didn't lose any of their games in the competition in the group stage. They'll certainly want to continue that in the knockout phase. 1996 winners Juventus, Ronaldo and co. Pirlo's really getting a team together over there. I'd say that they're another favourite for the competition. Lazio have not been at this stage for a long time. In fact, it was when I was a kid they got to the knockout phases the last time. So good to see them back. Our conquerors, RB Leipzig, who beat Manchester United on the last day of the group stage to get into the last 16. And great celebrations there. Liverpool, who won their group ahead of Atalanta, quite convincingly in the end. And one thing for sure, they really are a team to beat, even with their injuries. Man City, poor draw Saturday, I have to say. We didn't need that. And, they were pretty much there for the point too. Also in the R16, Paris Saint-Germain, Neymar picked up a horrible injury yesterday. They'll miss him. He will be a big loss for Paris Saint-Germain. And Porto, also a team who've won the competition before a long time ago. They've certainly gone. It's on strength to strength. Portuguese champions as well. I'd say they've got some quality there. Real Madrid and Sevilla representing Spain, each kings of both competitions in UEFA terms. They've won 19 trophies between them in the Champions League and the Europa League. They certainly are two of the finest sides that are involved in this competition. So now we've had that annoying bit out of the way. We're waiting. The video's done. We're just waiting now for the little Italian Giorgio Marchetti to come out of nowhere and start to blubber on about all of the magic rules and jazz that is involved in this competition. Thankfully, there's no Ukrainian or Russian teams in this one, but they will be in the Europa League draw. So good luck trying to sort that out if it's drawn correctly. Let's get that headphone in and see what he says. Again, everyone, I'm a little ill, so if you hear me sniffle a bit, yes. Just paying tribute to Gerard Houllier in the early part of the draw. Yeah, as I said, a very sad news this morning. Gerard Houllier passing away, and again, I pass on his on behalf of everyone here condolences and well wishes of his family and those who played underneath him and were involved in his career. He was a wonderful coach. I personally believe he would have been. He was certainly one of the best of all time. If you're biased and a fan of the clubs that he managed, but he certainly got the best out of everyone he managed, and he actually was one of the finest teachers of the game. And I advise you, if you ever get to see an interview of his or look back at his history as a manager, please do. He's a wonderful coach that we've lost today, and we obviously will miss him. Still, he's just playing tribute to all those who did make it into the last 16. Sadly, not us, annoyingly. Let's see what's going to happen. Obviously, the group stage is a little bit condensed this year as well with the pandemic and the leagues starting later than usual with no pre-season. Obviously, had to finish last season first, and a lot of the teams like us got to the latter stages of European competition. Bit of a surprise that this time around they have managed to squeeze 6 games into the space of about 2 months. I can test it out. I went to 5 of them. It wasn't easy, and week after week, it got a little bit more stressful, a little bit more tiring. Traveling was certainly a challenge, but all the more fun. And I wish I could have been able to give you a review from Istanbul a couple of weeks ago. I have really enjoyed that game. Michael Pangler's asked a question. Interesting. What do you think about Lazio? I find Lazio a wonderful team. Inzaghi has built such a strong and cohesive unit in Lazio. Andres Pereira, ex-United player, is on loan there now. He's doing relatively well. Joaquin Correa played for Sevilla. He scored against us, ironically, set up a goal against us in the Champions League. But he also he has such a big role to play in creating the goals for Immobile. They have a good, solid defense. Strakosta of Albania is one of the underrated goalkeepers in Europe. And in general, I think they might be a threat if you take them lightly. And you want to be careful what you wish for with them. But they are a quality team, and they deserve to be in a competition. They've done very well to get to the knockout stage in a very tough group as well, with Club Brugge and Zenit as well. Zenit normally good in European football as well. So, yeah, hopefully we wish them well and see if they can get further than the last 16. I did remember they went, I think they got to the quarterfinals in 2000, where Valencia knocks them out overall on aggregate. I remember Veron's excellent goal from range as well. So, very good performance. They've picked Stefan Chapuisat as the person who will do the draw, winner of the competition with Dortmund in 97, and famously came off for Lars Ricken, who scored that volley with his first touch afterwards. A lovely goal as well. Angelo Peruzzi standing still, wondering what to do with himself. They're fresh in my memory. Fantastic win, though, in 97 for Dortmund. And Dortmund want to get far again this year. Hello, Swayush. Good to see we have a strong following this morning. It's good to have you here. Again, I'm fighting many things, not just the coronavirus, but also the flu this morning. So Watchalong talking through his experiences as a player with the host. Says that Erling Haaland did so well for Dortmund in the group stages, and he's obviously injured now for a little while. I think it was a hamstring injury he picked up, which sent him. I think if you've seen his pictures in Qatar, it was interesting. Tisha Van Barneveld, nice to see you, pal. Says, I like your cut, G. Worth a highlight, mate. I see you support Juventus, Tisha, as well. Looking to see if they can get further than the last 16 this year. Wasn't a good run last year, Lyon eliminating them. Hopefully, Ronaldo gets one more Champions League before leaving Juventus. We'll see what happens. But I rate Andrea Pirlo greatly. Hopefully, he can get that team firing. Metahan says, hello from Austria. Oh, nice to see you. Big fan of Austrian football. Seeing Salzburg almost make it out of the group stage. I feel so sorry that they didn't, but they're in the Europa League draw, so hopefully they'll get a decent draw there too for their hopes of getting further. Semi-finalists of that competition in 2018 as well, so good to see. Lasker did well last year, got out of the group stage, didn't get out this year from Spurs group in the Europa League. But yeah, Austria is a really good team, and I hope they get some decent squads. Nesbitt says, "Get in, Arvid. Nice to see you, pal. Thank you." So they're going through that very annoying bit where they tell us all the tricky bits about the Champions League draw. They bring out the pouty guy who just always, when he holds the ball up, just like that. Very annoying. Perks of winning a group, by the way, is that you get to play at home. And by the way, we are seeded. Hello from Holland, T-Show. Nice to see that. Nice to see you, pal. I love your country, by the way. It's a lovely place. I was there for a little while earlier in the year. It was wonderful to be there. Alex Lewis says, how are you doing, my guy? Yeah, I'm a little ill. I've got a bit of a runny nose today, but fighting that to be able to give you this draw and hopefully a good double. Josip Brikovic, nice to see you this morning. What do you think of Dinamo Zagreb? He says. I'll show you his question. Dinamo Zagreb, the place where Dani Olmo came from. But yeah, wonderful team. Have been in Europe so many times. I find them to have created such wonderful talent. In fact, Manchester United have played them before in the European competition, way back when I was a kid. It was 1999, I think it was, when we were in the group stage. We drew 0-0 at Old Trafford, a good result for them, and then we beat them in Zagreb just to make sure we qualify for the next stage of the competition. But the current team is very good. I understand their coach is one of the finest in the league, and Zagreb always win the Croatian title, as far as I understand. And you know what? I think if you underestimate them, like I said before, with the likes of Atalanta, Lazio, and Leipzig in the Europa League, with them, if you take them lightly, they can surprise you, and they can score plenty of goals as well. Orsic as well. Mislav Orsic is a wonderful player. He's got big ambitions ahead of him. I hope he can step on and become the next big thing to come out of Croatia. Josip Brekalo, though, is one of my favorite young players. So they're about to do the first part of the Champions League draw, which is to draw out the teams. Who's my favorite to win the Champions League? Ooh, I'm torn between Bayern and Atletico, because Atletico at the moment are flying high in La Liga. Bayern, just because they are very good and have that ability to rest players and are the defending champions. What do you think about Ajax? Because I'm sad they didn't make it into the next round. I watched your game against Atalanta, and I feel like since De Ligt, De Jong, and Van der Beek left your team, it really has affected them. But I know that while they want to be in the Champions League, they are desperate to take the next step they need to get into the next stage of the competition. Semi-finals a long time ago, though, and it was a great achievement. I love to watch it. So let's just test that. Okay, good. That's tested. Let's do this. So Borussia Mönchengladbach have been drawn out. It's too long to write their name. So they will play. They are at home for the first leg. They can only draw 5 teams, and they will draw. Chapuisat's having trouble opening the ball up. He is having trouble opening the ball. Surely you can find it, mate. It's teasing me a little bit. Is this former Swiss striker? Who will Borussia Mönchengladbach play in the last 16? Manchester City. So Man City get, I think, a more favourable tie in the next round of the Champions League. So that's that done. So that's Man City and Borussia Dortmund. And it's Lazio next. Coming out of the draw. Who will join them in this stage? They can draw Bayern, Chelsea, Liverpool, Paris Saint-Germain, and Real Madrid. So I'll see any of them as a challenge, but we'll take them on, I'm sure. I did just speak to Mr. Pangalo, who I'm sure thinks they're very good of them, and I think they're a great team. I'll check your comments in just a moment, very quickly, before I move on to cutting the next one across. So Lazio will play Bayern Munich. So the champions of the Champions League are next out. Just make sure I don't spell it wrong. There we go. So that's the next one. Scroll across the bottom, and there we go. So Lazio versus Bayern. Atletico Madrid. They have made it to the final 3 times. Serial winners in the Europa League as well. 3 wins in the decades gone. Check your comment real quick. And big thanks to T-Show who liked and subbed. Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate it. So, Atletico versus Chelsea. So that's a big game right there. That is a very big game. I nearly spelled that one wrong. There we go. Let's go Chelsea. Next up is RB Leipzig, the team that knocked Manchester United out of the Champions League. They get 3 opportunities to find out who they will play in the next round of the Champions League. Juventus, Liverpool, or Real Madrid. So I'm sure Nagelsmann will be keen to see who he will want to play. Semi-finalists last season. They will meet Liverpool. And their familiar opponents are Liverpool and Leipzig. So that's a game there. Another English team for RB Leipzig to play. There we go. Leipzig versus Liverpool. Next is FC Porto. Portuguese champions and one of the finest teams in European football. They have done very well in their national league, but that's where Alex Telles came from, who plays for United today.
As always, get your comments in. Ask me anything you like. I'm happy to answer as much as I can regarding the draws today, and hopefully give you insight into each team as we get along. I'm going to be more focused on the Europa League draw as United are involved. And it is a Juventus for the Portuguese champions. So Ronaldo gets to go back to the Dragão, where he in the past has done many wonderful things. Juventus have won it twice, 85 and 96. So Barcelona drawn at home in the next leg, in the next stage. So they can play Paris Saint-Germain or Borussia Dortmund. Someone made a comment earlier on saying they would like to see Bayern versus Barca or Dortmund versus Barca. They can only play against two teams, and they will be playing Paris Saint-Germain. No Neymar at the moment, but PSG will play against Barcelona again. The role reversal this time. Two more left. It's Dortmund and Sevilla that are left in the competition for the draw. So there we go. Sevilla versus Borussia Dortmund, who've just sacked Lucien Favre just last Saturday. So a big game there. Sevilla also keen to get further in the Champions League this season, but that's where Jadon Sancho is. So I'd say keep an eye on that tie. And finally, what a big tie for Atalanta. They get to play. Just make sure again I don't spell the name wrong. Atalanta versus Real. 13-time winners Real Madrid will travel to Italy and play against Atalanta. What's a draw? Some interesting ties. Atletico versus Chelsea catches my eye. Am I going to stream the UCL? Yes, I am. I have to, obviously, because we are a United channel. Man United are in the Europa League. And also because, we never know who we could play. We are seeded in that draw, having dropped out of the Champions League. So we can play any of the teams in the next round except for the English opposition. But here is the draw one more time before I head off for just a moment to do the to get a break and then do the Europa League draw in about half an hour or so because there's a bit of a break. But before I go, let me just give you the games one more time. They're saying the 16th and the 17th of February will be when the first legs will take place, and the 22nd and 23rd of February. Just give me some team of the year stuff. So first legs are 16th and 17th of February, and 22nd and 23rd of February, and then early March as well will be the second legs. I'm making sure I don't have that ticker problem happening again while I try to edit it. So bear with me, everybody. Sorry if it's taking a little longer, but some really good draws. I'm very happy with a couple of the games as well. Leipzig versus Liverpool were really catching my attention. Atletico versus Chelsea. For the English teams, I find that to be very, very interesting. Bear with me, everybody. I'm just making sure I don't have that ticker problem happening again. I'm having some trouble sorting that out right now. Give me a moment. In fact, I might even be traveling to one of those Europa League games in the next few months. Comment in the section there. That's a shame you guys are seeing. We'd love to play against you. Yes, I think Zagreb won their group, Josip, if I'm not wrong. So that would mean that we can't play you in the last 32. Is that right? Just confirm that for me in the
comments there. But I'm sure we can't play with 32 because as we're seeded, we wouldn't be able to play against anyone who's won the group in the Europa League because we are the best teams coming out of the Champions League. In fact, I think we have the best records of the teams coming out of the Champions League. So certainly a very good set of matches on offer there in the Europa League. So just to confirm it, yes, that's true. So we can't play seeded teams, and they did win their group, did Zagreb, so we can't meet them. I think you guys also knocked out Feyenoord, which is quite a remarkable achievement, if I'm not wrong. Did Feyenoord make it or not? 525 minutes without conceding a goal as well. They are a tough team. I wouldn't want to be the team that is going to play Zagreb. They seem to have a very good defense there. Another player I think I remember who's gone to Leipzig this season, Gvardiol, comes from Zagreb as well. Top player, really good talent. Still haven't forgotten that he has a lot of pace. Just to do a wrap-up of the Champions League draw before I head off for a bit to do the Europa League draw. I'm going to be back shortly to preview that. Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Manchester City. The name would be too long to fit this banner. Big game there for Borussia. Man City, though, you can see why there's favouritism, in my opinion. But Man City getting a draw, which I think they are the favourites for. Mönchengladbach did very well to get out of their group, albeit on the last day, but this one might just be a step too far. Unless their strikers, Alassane Player, Marcus Thuram, and I really like Florian Neuhaus, is terrific players, one of the next big things to come out of Germany at the moment. If they can get them all fit and firing, and there's a lot of talent in that team, they'll certainly be a threat in that game. But Man City look like they're going to be favourites, and Guardiola shouldn't really have too much trouble getting past them. Lazio versus FC Bayern Munich. A very, very tough game for Fred Michael Pangolo there. He's seen his side get picked out against the champions, and a really tough draw, but I can't say, you never say never. You never know what could happen in this competition. It's happened before. Big sides have fallen by the wayside in shock results. I've got faith in Lazio to give Bayern a real challenge. Not saying the odds are stacked against them, but Bayern will really want to get through this stage and focus on getting to the quarterfinals. They will not see Lazio as an easy game. I'm sure of that. They didn't get there. They didn't get to this competition on sheer luck. They deserved their spot because of an excellent run of league wins and great form and terrific striking from Immobile. So it'll be the battle of the two goal-getters, Lewandowski and Immobile, in that game. Will be an interesting watch indeed, particularly as Immobile is an ex-Dortmund player. But yes, Bayern Lazio, a great game in the offing. Atletico Madrid versus Chelsea. Well, Chelsea have been given a relatively challenging draw here. I did say it. I did say last time to someone in my house who is a Chelsea fan, and I'm not wearing blue because I support them. No way. I'm only wearing because it's the only cliche I have. But the rest of them are in the wash, and one of them I can't really wear right now. It's quite great shame. But Atletico and Chelsea. Well, excuse me, everyone. They've met 7 times, and Chelsea have only beaten them twice. The last time that it mattered against Atletico was in the group stages 2 years ago, when Atletico were eliminated from the competition after drawing at Stamford Bridge. So, for that, it's not good to have got this draw, because Atletico are one high flying in La Liga. They are really getting a good run of form together, possibly, in my opinion, as I've said, favourites to win the league this season. So I'd say keep an eye out on that one. I also think we have, with these two sides, two of the more differing sides in the competition. So I'd say keep your eyes peeled on this game. But Atletico Chelsea will be a challenge for Chelsea, I think. RB Leipzig. Well, Leipzig didn't have it all their own way in the group stages early on, but recovered immensely. I think they won their last 2 games against Istanbul, which I watched. A fantastic win, albeit in crazy circumstances right at the end, to secure their spot in the last 16 after being United. And sure enough, deserved to be here because they put such a wonderful effort in, hard grafting, and
never give up, never say die attitude for Nagelsmann, who's definitely one of the best coaches in Europe at the moment. I can't deny it. He's proven his worth, and personally, I believe he has the world at his feet as a manager right now. Where he goes next is a complete mystery. Liverpool won't have it easy. It is not the first time these two sides have met, however, so we can't rely on them exactly having it their own way, because the style of play that they have, the talent they have in that team as well, minus Timo Werner, cannot be ignored. So Leipzig, for me, must be careful. Porto versus Juventus. That's a tough one. Juventus aren't the all-conquering team, the all-conquering team that have it all their own way in the Champions League now, or in even Serie A. They're third in, I think they're, as we speak, in the top four, behind Inter and AC Milan. Ronaldo scored again yesterday, another nice double. He's hit 750 in the last week or so, and he's certainly getting closer and closer to becoming an all-time great goal scorer in football. So I think he's got a lot to prove. He goes back to Portugal again against Porto. Scored a wonderful goal there in 2009 for Manchester United. I can't think we as fans haven't forgotten it. It's a stunning goal. And Porto won't have it easy. I think this might be a step too far for them. If Juventus get their players fit and firing, Pirlo's really got them as a well-drilled unit, a really well-drilled team, and definitely will have to be wary about not just their main threat, but the ones around them. Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain. PSG got out of the group again and got Barcelona again, but this time they may not have Neymar for that game, because Neymar last night picked up a horrible injury against Lyon in their 1-0 defeat. Could there be conspiracy into that one? I don't know, but we shall see. In any case, I'm hoping to see, hopefully, a game that will definitely be challenging for both sides, with the fact that these are teams that are not at their peak anymore in some cases. Mbappe and Messi, we've seen it before, but this time it will be a very difficult situation for them. No, there's just talking about Mr. Houlier's career and everything. I'm sure that's lovely chat. But yeah, focusing on these two. French football obviously pioneered through Houlier's tactics and everything, and his ability to give the players he managed a real kick in the butt. But for this game, Barcelona, PSG, I don't know. I can't call it. Sevilla versus Borussia Dortmund. Sevilla knocked us out in the Europa League last season. Won't defend that title this year because they've got to the last 16 of the Champions League, which I'm sure they wanted to do, against a Dortmund team I am genuinely very worried about right now. Didn't have it easy coming out of their group, but they've only won one of the last 5 games in all competitions. And Sancho injured. Looks like he's injured. He's going to be out for a bit. Haaland injured as well. They have problems, clear problems. And Giovanni Reina is a terrific talent. He really is a fantastic player. But for Sevilla, this is going to be tough. They don't have Sergio Reguilon this time, but nevertheless, it's a very good team that Lopetegui has set up there. I think they'll be a very threatening team. In Europe, they've done it before. They've got such great experience of European football, and it will certainly be a threat in this competition. But this game is going to be too close to call. I think it might just be that Dortmund scrape this one if they get a good result away from home in the competition. So yeah, that won't make it easy for them. And finally, a show glamour tie for Atalanta against Real Madrid. 13-time winners going to Italy, and they've already been there this season. But Real Madrid, I'm sure, will not take them lightly. Atalanta are a free-scoring team. They have such terrific strikers. Luis Burial, Duvan Zapata, the Colombian Juro. They don't play together up front very often, but they do have quality in their team. They do have such a strong unit under Gasperini, who, after a fantastic result against Liverpool, got to this stage. I think that was their big opportunity to secure the last 16 place.
obviously at the expense of Ajax. And to be honest with you, this one, with the way Real Madrid have struggled this season, but they are still in that race for La Liga, will be a tough one for Zinedine Zidane. I think, in his career, he has gotten the better of Atalanta in the Serie A part of his career, so he shouldn't have too much trouble here. So that's done. So one more time for you, I'm going just to make sure you're fully up to date. I'm sure you'll be able to do it on the Twitter. But Borussia Dortmund versus Man City, Lazio versus Bayern, Atletico Chelsea, RB Leipzig Liverpool, Porto versus Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain going to Barcelona yet again, Sevilla versus Borussia Dortmund, and Atalanta versus Real Madrid. Those are the Champions League last 16 ties. So this is my opportunity. I'm going to mute my mic and send it to the Europa League screensaver. I'll be back in a few minutes to set up for us as United fans, the important draw between us and God knows who in the Europa League. And I'm sure if you all tune in too, that'll be great. So I'll be back in a few moments, everyone. See you in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. It's good to have you. Good to be here again. Just completed the Champions League draw, which best part of 20 minutes ago gone now, which has brought some interesting ties for us to feast our eyes on in February, which sadly Manchester United will not be a part of, but they will be, as much as some of us don't like it, be a part of the Europa League draw coming up in about 10 or so minutes from now. So that is sure to be an interesting competition and hopefully one that we can win because we are now the big fish in the small pond. But to those who didn't get the chance, I will take you through the Champions League draw once again so that you can catch up with what you missed. Just wait for a few peeps to come in there and come in and join us before I do that. Just realising a few interesting things, by the way. PSG versus Barcelona is the return of Neymar to Barca if he's fit in time. Yeah, just confirming that they're about to do that. Yep, there we go. So that's the Champions League element of it done. Europa League is coming up in a moment. So for those of you who have missed the Champions League draw, here it is one more time. I did type it in banners so you could see them. Mönchengladbach versus City. They have met before in the Champions League, ironically, 5 years ago in the same group. But that time, sadly, not much fortune for Mönchengladbach then. They were eliminated last in their group, I believe. So that's an interesting draw right there. But City should really get through that one without any trouble. Lazio versus Bayern. We have a Lazio fan in here who wanted to hear my thoughts. They're a good team, very strong unit. Bayern, the champions of Europe, though, and possibly world champions in February. Who knows? But yeah, big game there, and Bayern should really be favourites for that one if they have their full squad fit and ready for that game. Atletico versus Chelsea. It's the game of the competition. Joao Felix for Atletico. He will certainly be the man to watch. Diego Costa going back to Chelsea. And again, it's a big, tough task for Frank Lampard's side, but he should be able to set up for that team and should be able to give them grief in the last 16. One of the ties around, Leipzig-Liverpool. Liverpool obviously meeting Leipzig again in the competition. Excuse me. I am fighting the flu, everybody, so do forgive me if you hear weird noises, but from my nose especially. But yes, Leipzig-Liverpool, brilliant game. Liverpool have met them before they were in their proper incarnation 2.5 years ago. So this one will be a different game there. Leipzig are a different team, a stronger team, a much more cohesive unit, and will definitely be a team to keep an eye on in the near future. Liverpool, they can't take them lightly, but they've met them before, and if they take lessons from United, they'll definitely want their defenders back in time. Porto versus Juventus. Ronaldo going back home again. Portuguese champions were having a hard time. I have a hard time there against Juve. One definitely, I think, should go towards the Italian champions. The Neymar derby between Barca and Paris Saint-Germain. 2 epic ties 3 years ago. One that ended 6-1, a fantastic game. The other finishing in a 4-0 thumping for Paris. So, one thing's for sure, definitely the game for me. I think this will definitely be a match that will pretty much grab the attention of world football. Even if they are not the same teams, they definitely are favourites in this competition. Paris Saint-Germain got to the final last season. I really think they'll have a chance to get into the next stage. If Barcelona are not able to get their kids on the world-class spectrum just yet. Sevilla versus Borussia Dortmund. Very good game there. Dortmund sacked Lucien Favre. It looks like Marco Rose of Mönchengladbach will take the job. I think it's a shoe-in because he's a really good coach. And he's got top quality tactics and not tactical knowledge of the game. And he will certainly be a man to watch in the near future. So finally, Sevilla, perennial Europa League champions, 6 wins, 6 Europa League wins. By the way, they are really good. So keep an eye out for them as well. Atalanta and Real Madrid finally, kings of the competition, will meet the Italian underdogs. One to watch as well in that case. So that's that in terms of the Champions League. Europa League is coming up now. It's really weird hearing that intro with us involved in it again, but the rest of Gdansk starts again, sadly, for us, but we should aim to win it this time and not fall short on this occasion either. I should stress, we could meet Rangers in this competition, by the way, but we can't meet them in this stage because they are seeded as group winners, I believe. So that should be interesting. Some great goals in the Europa League and some teams I think will be very keen to. I'm very keen to see if they're able to give us a challenge or not. Five British teams in the last 32 of the Europa League. So a really big game. Really big games coming up and certainly quality teams in the competition. So many interesting unseeded teams to look out for as well. So we might be spoiled for choice here, boys and girls. So, quickly covering 32 instead of 16 this time. There are some very different teams in the Europa League, more for me to cover than I would have initially needed to regionally cover. But let me profile the competition for you. So, for me, I do enjoy this competition when there are so many teams involved, and it can bring such pressure as well for the squads coming out of the Champions League to really provide some quality to the competition. So, meet the last 32. That's what I want to see. So, in the draw today, AC Milan, 7 times Champions League winners. It's been a long time since they were in the perennial competition, but they have done well in this competition before. Semi-finalists on 2 separate occasions, yet for all their European Cup wins, never won the UEFA Cup or the Europa League. 2002 was the last time they made it, and they are winners of their group in Group H, a very competitive group with Sparta Prague and Lille as well. Celtic also in that group, but performed very badly in that competition and will for sure be a team that I think you can't underestimate. Good old Zlatan plays for them now. His second spell at the Rossoneri. They are top of Serie A at this present moment. You never know what could happen with them. They can be on and off. Last they picked up a draw against Parma as well, so keep an eye on that one. Well, Ajax, what can I say about Ajax? We've met them in Europe before. First time we ever met them was in 2011, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of recent history. I may be corrected. But they met us in 2011-12 season in the Europa League. We knocked them out in 2 good games. They had a very young team, or still very much belief in the youth and developing the next world-class talent to come out of Holland. We beat them in the 2017 final to get that one Europa League title. But they have won the competition before in 1992. It has likes of Rijkaard, De Boers, the young Kluivert as well. So much talent there. Van Basten's played at Ajax. He's such great talent. Recently, De Jong, De Ligt, and Van der Beek, who've all played there. Hakim Ziyech as well. I forgot to mention him in the Champions League draw. He plays for Chelsea now, but all of them have come through the Ajax Academy. Top quality team there as well. Arsenal having a horrible season in the Premier League. But they won their group with relative ease with the likes of Rapid Vienna, Molde and Dundalk, not really threatening their opponents in the group. No threat from their group opponents. And sure enough, they have managed to get into the last 82 yet again this season. They were eliminated last season, however, in this stage by Olympiacos, who were knocked out of the Champions League. So this year, with them being both seeded, they can't meet each other this year. Club Brugge, we knocked them out last season. Man United beating 5-0 at Old Trafford after a 1-1 draw in Belgium after a very good pair of games. The second leg was the last game I attended, but when I watched this for United in 2020 before the pandemic struck, there was 76 was the last time they were runners up, so definitely interesting to watch. In Dinamo Zagreb, we have a Josip who was with us earlier on, who's been in the comments earlier today, wishing them well. They won their group and got out well comfortably from their group as well. I was very happy they did it. Last 16 of the Europa League is the best they've done in 98 and 2019. They've been in the Champions League on numerous seasons before. Great big threat, really good team as well. I'd say keep an eye out for them. Hoffenheim won Group L. They did very well this season. They weren't very good last season in the Champions League after being eliminated in the group stages by the likes of City and co. But this is the best they've done in Europe, however, as a club. They haven't existed for very long, but they've managed to get to the 32 for the first time in the club's history. Leicester City, who had a fantastic win against Brighton yesterday, they won their group with relative ease as well. Zoria, Braga, and AEK Athens. Good. It's a good group, but a comfortable group for them. And sure enough, they came through that really comfortably. Bundesliga leaders, Bayer Leverkusen, winners of the competition in 1988 as the UEFA Cup, as it was the UEFA Cup back then. 23rd ranking in UEFA. Group C winners, top team, really good squad. Jon Bailey's a star in their squad. And they really are building a great team there. Kai Havertz just left by Leverkusen a few months ago. I still think there's a threat there. There's a big threat. So keep an eye out for them in the seeds. Obviously, us, semi-finalists, winners in 2017. Manchester United have to win this competition. It is a prerogative to get further than the semi-finals because we might do well in the Champions League, but we have to win the Champions League. But with the way things have gone this season, our best bet would have been to get into the next stages of that competition. We haven't. So now we get through to this competition. We must win it. We have to be able to condemn everything we can to winning this if we can't get through it in the Premier League. But talk more about that in a minute. Napoli won the Group F, winners in 1989. The late Diego Maradona was a part of that team, and he helped them secure their first and only European trophy to this day. They fought last season. They got knocked out by Barcelona in the Champions League, but they won their group this year in the Europa League ahead of Real Sociedad, who are also leaders of La Liga. I'll talk about them in a minute. PSV Eindhoven, winners 10 years earlier than Napoli. In 1978, they won their Group E after struggling in the first couple of games, but they did very well to get to this stage. So good for them. Rangers of Scotland seeded as Group D winners and just about made it into the last 32 this year, but still such a great team of building up there. But through Steven Gerrard, as United fans, we shouldn't really be praising them very much. So Roma also winners of the competition, I believe. No, they were runners-up in 1991. They lost last season in the last 16 against Sevilla, who won the competition. A very good performance that day from Sevilla, but never really threatened the Roma team. They have won their group in relative ease. Shakhtar Donetsk semi-finals last season. Winners of the old UEFA Cup, the last ever UEFA Cup incarnation of the competition in 2009. And they were a very good team back then, and certainly a threat in this competition. Especially getting that point in Inter to get through to this competition as well. Tottenham, winners of Group J, last season knocked out in the last 16 under Mourinho against Leipzig in relative fashion, losing 4-0 over the two legs. Last time they got this far in this competition was in 1972, 1974, 84 when they won both the competitions. They were two-time winners in this incarnation of UEFA's tournament. 72 was against Wolves, a fantastic final there back then, and then beat Anderlecht in 1984 at White Hart Lane in a penalty shootout, an epic final there. Big props to them, and Spurs, I'm sure, will do very well in the next stage of the competition. Villarreal, Unai Emery manages them now, 3-time semi-finalists in the UEFA Cup and Europa League. The most recent being in 2016 when they were beaten by Liverpool in that stage. A very good performance then, and they're still a good team. But Emery is the king of the Europa League. He did it with Sevilla 3 years in a row, and despite his misfortune with Arsenal in 2019, he's got them back, and he's got Villarreal back fit and firing, and now high up in La Liga, a team to watch. That's the seeded team to the unseeded sides. Antwerp are second in Tottenham's group. Very good side. I want to get Spurs in the competition. Last time they did very well in UEFA competition was they got to the final of the 1993 UEFA Cup Winners' Cup final, which was here in London at Wembley. A very good victory there, and a very good victory for Parma that night. But that's as far as they've gotten in Europe in terms of the Europa League. Quarterfinals in 1990. Benfica have been runners-up in 3 finals, and unfortunately haven't really found their feet ever since in these competitions. They lost back-to-back finals in 2003, 13 and 2014. Just picking out that's Maniche, by the way. He's played for Portugal and Porto for almost his career, Champions League winner and Europa League winner back-to-back years in 2003, 4. He's doing the draw today. Big rating team, wonderful talent. He scored brilliant goals as well. Speaking of Portugal, Benfica, 3-time finalists. Failures to win on each occasion, but they won the UEFA Champions League on numerous occasions. Braga, runners-up in 2011, who lost to Porto in Dublin. The best they've done was last season's round 32, when Rangers did a fantastic comeback to win both the first leg 3-2 and get through to the next stage, or be eliminated by Leverkusen. Red Star Belgrade, a team to watch. Runners-up in 79, group stage of the Champions League last season. Finished second in Group L. Dynamo Kiev got knocked out of the Champions League as one of the worst third best teams, though, but so they get into unseeded group. Semi-finals of this competition last season, I believe. No, that's incorrect. It says 2019, but it's actually 2009. It was when they got to semi-finals, beaten by Shakhtar in their derby, which was really pulsating affair to see who'd get to the final in Istanbul in 2009. It was Shakhtar over Dinamo. Granada are a new team. They are first-time competitors in the Europa League, and they have done so well to get far in this competition. Just forgive me for a second. I've had a small technical issue. Need to get back to the draw as quickly as I can. Krasnodar knocked out the Champions League last 16 in the last 2 competitions, 2017 and 2019. Lille finished Group H runners-up. They made it to the last 16 on 4 separate occasions in the previous decade, in 2002, 2005, 2006, and 2010. Excuse me, everyone. The Maccabi Tel Aviv have only ever made it to the last 32 before. Molde last 32 in this year. It's the first time they'll ever do it. They made it to the last 32 under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, ironically, in 2016 after playing in a group with the likes of Ajax and Celtic and I think, was it Sevilla? I think it was in their group. No, it wasn't Sevilla. Somebody else was in their group. But they got knocked out by Sevilla, but they did very well in the first game. So they have pedigree there. Olympiacos 4 times they made it to last 16. Last knocked out by Wolves in that stage last year. Sociedad quarterfinalists in 1989, and this is the first time they made it back into Europe for a long time. They've done very well in La Liga, top of the La Liga at the moment. So they're a team I would want to avoid. Salzburg are knocked out of the Champions League, finishing last year's competition in the last 32 after Frankfurt knocked them out in a rescheduled game. Slavia Prague, Champions League was their best. Wolfsburg of Austria, who are in this stage after getting out of their group, which had finals in it. They are in the last 82. They were in the group stage last season after their first appearance in the competition. And finally, BSC Young Boys of Switzerland, who I watched against Sevilla, who are a team to watch. And 3 times they made it to the last 32. So those are the sides which we can meet. But we should see what will happen. Obviously, the rule here is that Ukrainian teams and Russian teams cannot draw each other. If you still want to, by the way, quickly before I get on with it, if you want to ask me anything or tell me anything in the comments, like I've said before, drop them in there and I'll be able to respond to them as I can. Please don't be crude, however. So with 32 teams, there are 16 ties, 8 split into 2 separate kickoff times on a Thursday night. Some games might be played in the split between the matches. Okay, so they've just told me, they're just telling us now that Spurs and Arsenal having qualified, and because of local proximity, they will have to play at separate days. So Tottenham will get a home game on Wednesday night, and Arsenal, also group winners, will get their game on Thursday. So big responsibility for them, but Arsenal will play after Spurs. Spurs finish, they will play sooner. Does Arsenal don't get that cup privilege I think you normally get with this competition. So the draw is about to take place. 8 teams who are knocked out of the Champions League are joining 26 in the Europa League, group winners and runners-up. The Champions League seeded is us and a few, and the other group, some of the other group winners, like some Napoli and Co. So I'd say keep an eye out for that one. Best not Napoli, but again, we have to avoid certain teams I think we'll be threatened by. I've said it already, the likes of Granada, who are Spanish, we know, and Sociedad, 2 sides we should really not get too early in this competition because they are doing very well this season. I also think we should avoid best Scottish teams if we get through to the last 16, but we'll see what happens. So here we go. The last 32 of the UEFA Europa League. United involved. Let's see who they'll get. First, coming out of the draw, Wolfsburg AC of Austria out first. So they can't play against Zagreb because they were in the same group as them. They can play everybody else who are seeded. It's a longer draw because there's more teams to pick out here on this occasion. You could play United, Brugge, Ajax, Villarreal, Spurs, Hoffenheim, just to name a few. So, here we go. Wolfsburg, Austria will play. There we go. He's managed to break through. And he's just picked out Tottenham. Ooh, Spurs go back to Austria. That's a big game for them, for Wolfsburg. But for Spurs, that's a very good result. So Spurs play Wolfsburg of Austria, who won finished second in the group with Zagreb. A very good result for them and a huge tie for the Austrian team. Next up is Dynamo Kiev Can't play Shakhtar because if they are currently in a pickle with the with the matter of 2 or 3 interesting Russians. They will meet. Can't play against Shakhtar. They can play anybody else who are seeded. Preferably, I do not want a long trip for United to Ukraine. It's not easy to go there and back and be fresh for the next match. Thursday, Sunday is not easy either. So Manish picks out. Manish, the former Porto and Portugal international. Club Brugge. So that's 2 former Champions League teams that are playing each other there. There we go. Dinamo Kiev versus Club Brugge. When they were runners-up way back in '76, losing to Liverpool, as I imagine. Now it's Real Sociedad. Can't play Villarreal or Napoli. This is a team, as I said, we need to avoid because this team are very good right now in La Liga. To get knocked out this stage of the competition against them wouldn't be ideal. They have, however, done so well in this competition. Second time they've been in the Europa League, but they were knocked out in the group stages the first time. It's the first time they've ever made it beyond the group stage of any UEFA competition. So this is a threatening team. David Silva plays there currently, and a few others. Diego Llorente playing for Leeds today also came from Sociedad. Let's see who they'll get. Hopefully Manish won't do any bad luck for us. So, Sociedad. Oh, and as I said, we didn't need to get them, and sure enough, we did. So, Manchester United will travel to the Basque region and play against Sociedad. That is a team I said we had to avoid. And we got them! So a trip to Spain for us. And that's not ideal for our hopes of getting to the next stage of the competition. But we take it as it is. We have played them before in the Champions League. And it was a time when Antoine Griezmann was playing for Sociedad. So let's see how we do in this occasion. A very different team, though, a very strong team. In the Basque region. Also knocked out by their neighbours Bilbao in the 2012 competition. Similar time when we knocked out in the Champions League that season. Also that's Benfica and on that occasion. Speaking of Benfica, they've been drawn up next at home in the first leg. Let's see who they'll get. Bear with me. Arsenal go to Benfica. Oh dear, for them that's not a very good result. But they've met before, these two as well, in the Champions League before, and there's 2 historic teams there. Arsenal having a really tough trip to Portugal and to the Estádio da Luz for what I feel is a hard game for them in the next stage of the UEFA Europa League. Red Star Belgrade. Yes, I will use the correct pronunciation. So, Red Star Belgrade, who I have pronounced as Crvena Zvezda, will play. Second time they've made it from their team, for their team to get through to this stage of the competition. So, Crvena Zvezda, Red Star Belgrade will play in their tie at home to AC Milan. That is an old school match from way back when in the early 90s. I think these two were one of the best teams in the world, in fact, in Europe in the early 90s. And when Milan didn't win it in 91, Red Star did, and they are Champions League winners in that competition. So, next is Royal Antwerp. Antwerp, a very new team to European football in the last few years. They are able to play anybody, no restrictions for them. Even Ajax is available, so a Flemish derby is possible. Sort it for Ajax if they get them. So here comes their opponents. Royal Antwerp will meet Rangers. Okay, so Steven Gerrard's league leaders in Scotland will have a trip to Belgium. A very big result there for Antwerp. Decent team. Rangers obviously top of Scotland right now and unbeaten in the league. Interesting choice there. Next up is Slavia Prague. Can't draw by a Leverkusen because they met them last one. They met them in the group stage, so they're exempt from this one. Slavia Prague knocked out of the Champions League on the playoff stages by Midtjylland. They have beaten Sevilla before, so they have got history in this competition. I watched their game against Chelsea in 2019. A fantastic 4-3. What a match that was. Excuse me. So it's Leicester City who will get their shot at Slavia Prague. So there we go. Slavia host Leicester in the next stage of the Europa League. But first time Leicester have got out of this competition in the last 32, but they have been in the last 16 of the Champions League, knocked out the quarterfinals in 2017. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. I am fighting the elements, everybody, to get through this. FC Salzburg. Done very well to get out of the Champions League group. They will play Villarreal. Right. There we go. Salzburg, Villarreal. Sorry, everyone, for constant sneezing. Braga next. Braga will host. I'm going to quickly use the opportunity when they do this draw to get the next one on the banner and then get a tissue. Roma. Oof. So Roma will play Braga. So let me just go and get that sorted. I'll be right back, everyone. Just need to get something. Okay. There we go. Alright, that's done. Sorry about that. Zagreb have been drawn. They've already drawn the home team. So Zagreb will play Krasnodar. There we go. Josip, who was a pal of ours on the show earlier on, is getting a good draw there. Krasnodar versus Dinamo Zagreb. So anything for young boys, Swiss team got out of the group. Didn't even watch that game because PFC CSKA goes to field, which is where I was a while back because it was so foggy. Leverkusen, short trip for Leverkusen there. There you go. So young boys will host basically young boys will play by Leverkusen. Mulder possibly in the next round, have a tough tie coming up. Swedish champions, also played in the Champions League this season until the playoff rounds. So Mulder will get Hoffenheim. There we go. So Hoffenheim will play Mulder in Norway. I do hope we get a favourable result in Spain, honestly. I will profile our game last, by the way, just for safekeeping. Granada. Can't play PSV, so they can only play Napoli, Shakhtar, or Ajax. European debut for them. They're in the last 32 for the first time ever, of course. Manisha's just making sure he gets that ball out. No, Napoli. So that'll be a very good game between two really good teams in terms of current season form. Three teams left. Coming up next is Maccabi Tel Aviv, second place in the group. So Maccabi Tel Aviv, the Israeli side. Apple Beersheba got in the competition as well, but were knocked out this year. So Maccabi Tel Aviv will play. Got out of the group with Villarreal. Karabakh and Sivasspor there too. Shakhtar, that's a long trip for them. But sure enough, Champions League third place team. And they will meet in the next round of the Europa League. There we go. So Shakhtar Donetsk will go to Israel. Lille away for one of the remaining sides. Ajax and Eindhoven. So one of the two Dutch sides will meet them. So a short trip for both. across Europe. You see, he scored 2 hat-tricks in the Europa League, 6 goals this season, top scorer in the competition at the moment as well. So it is Ajax. Ajax will get their opportunity against Ajax. Lille, top of their league, as are Ajax. Ajax are competing for theirs in Holland, but Lille top of the first division in France, and that leaves with one remaining. And that's the last tie. So with that being sorted, 16 ties done. I am very, very exhausted. So that's it. 16 matches. I will profile United's game last because it's only right we leave the best and the most important first. Just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, so I've done it. I managed to get all the draws in, even with a split. So the final 16 ties have been done, and they'll be done in a split because the last 16 also happens in a 2-week period before the quarterfinals. Okay, so the 18th of February and the 26th of February will be the draw. And then the next match is after that match, second. Oh my God, English is a mess right now. The 18th is the first legs and the 26th is the second legs. The day after is the draw for the last 16. So if we make it into the next stage, we will be able to find out who we play. But that's if we get past our opponents. So quickly review the draw before I go and get some well-earned Leipzig. 1 hour, 44 minutes as well. What a long stream. Did I see it correctly? Yes, you did, Josip. I will profile your game very shortly. But let me get through each tie very fast because there's 16 of them. And there's not much time like they were in the Champions League. But Wolfsburg versus Tottenham is the first tie that was drawn. Spurs getting a trip back to Austria. They went there already in the group stage and played Lask Linz, who gave them a very tough 3-3 draw in Austria. They did beat them in the first game. Nevertheless, though, that's a really good tie for Wolfsburg. And hopefully, if they do have fans back for that game, it will certainly be a big night for that team. Dynamo Kiev versus Club Brugge is an all Champions League tie because both sides were third place in the Champions League group stages, so they will be meeting each other in this stage of the competition. Benfica versus Arsenal. Arsenal having a hard time in the Premier League, a really difficult period in more ways than one. They will travel to Portugal to play against Benfica, and I have to be honest with you, they will not find it easy. But you've done well in the Europa League, 6 out of 6. Can't underestimate them. Red Star Belgrade versus AC Milan. A very big result there for Red Star. Two sides who've won the UEFA Champions League before, with Milan 7 times, but with Red Star, they won it in 91 in Milan's period when they were at their peak against Marseille. For Red Star, though, a big tie, and I am sure the Maracana in Belgrade will be rocking. Milan, though, top of the Serie A, big threat for this competition. Rangers have a trip to Belgium. They'll play against Royal Antwerp. Again, Royal Antwerp, a side that did very well to get out of the group with Spurs, Lask, and Ludogorets. But nevertheless, Antwerp very well deserving in this season's competition to get out of the group stage, and get far, hopefully, in this competition. For Rangers, top of the group, top of Scottish football at the moment. They are really pulling trees up there and breaking that little monopoly Celtic had. Slavia Prague will host Leicester City. Leicester obviously getting out of their group. Slavia have done well in the Europa League before being eliminated by Chelsea in 2019. Did mention they got a fantastic game in 2019 against Chelsea. The second leg, which ended 4-3, I really enjoyed it. I watched it live as I was working there. and it was a really good performance from them that night. So I'd say be careful what you wish for if you're a Slavia fan, because Leicester free scoring at the moment, and they did that last night against Brighton. Salzburg versus Villarreal. Unai Emery, king of the Europa League, loves the competition, 3-time winner with Sevilla. He loves this competition. He's back with Spanish opposition again with FC Salzburg, semi-finalists in 2018. Salzburg will not take this lightly. They did have Spanish opposition in the Champions League group with Atletico Madrid, losing on the last day by 2-0. If they have anything to go by, they're a very tough team, and they give Bayern a hard time as well. So it will not make it easy for Unai Emery. Braga-Roma is a really tough tie. And one thing is for sure, I do firmly believe we will have an interesting battle there. Roma desperately needing to get through this competition and get further than the last 16 this year. So we'll see what they can do against Braga. Josip asked me, here's the answer. FK Krasnodar will meet Dinamo Zagreb in the last 32. Krasnodar finished third in their group in the Champions League, and sure enough, they did. They managed to get another opportunity in the Europa League for the third time they're in this stage of the competition. Zagreb were top of their group and will want to take the Russian side on. It'll be a really heated affair, I'm sure, especially with the Krasnodar fans there on that occasion. But Zagreb, wish them all the best, and hopefully they do get through to the next stage. Young Boys versus Bayern Leverkusen, Bundesliga leaders against the Swiss side. Young Boys have a very good team, having watched them live, albeit through a foggy Bulgarian night in early December. They are very good at their crafts. They have this young talent in Ansame, who scored goals recently for them. So I think they've got a really good draw there against Leverkusen, who are firing on all cylinders in the Bundesliga right now. Molde FK versus Hoffenheim, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team, with a old team getting a right old challenge. They'll meet Hoffenheim in the next stage of the competition. So we'll see what he brought back the show. Molde FK versus Hoffenheim, really big game there for Hoffenheim. Good luck to the Molde as well, though. Should be interesting to see how they'll do. Granada versus Napoli. Napoli will certainly be wanting to die of this sore against a new side in Europe in Granada. Who knows what may happen, though? I sternly believe we might see some surprises there with Granada's style of football, and they are really a good team. Watch out for them. Maccabi Tel Aviv will play Shakhtar Donetsk, and one thing's for sure, Shakhtar no not on the Europa League very often. They do very well in this competition. I'd say you'd want to watch out for them. Lille versus Ajax is a very interesting tie. Top of Holland and France's leagues meeting each other there. Lille in great form at the moment, and Yasici, who has scored 2 hat-tricks this year in the Europa League, is certainly a man to watch. And PSV Eindhoven will travel to Greece to play Olympiacos in the next stage of the Europa League as well. I've left it till last because obviously we are a Manchester United channel. While I do enjoy talking about the Europa League and teams involved in it, it's only right I bring it up. Manchester United have been given pretty much the hardest possible team in the last 32, and they'll get to go to the Basque Country to play against Real Sociedad. It is not ideal for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's hopes of winning this Europa League, especially with the way things are, especially with the way things have been going, and results going the way that United have expected recently. This one was not the one they wanted. Sociedad are currently top of La Liga and have been in imperious form this season in the absence of Barcelona really challenging, and they have such a unit. I'm going to just get them up now so I can give a quick idea of what they can offer. They certainly are one of the best teams in Europe right now. They do have a problem with being 2 games ahead of Atletico Madrid, who I think are favourites to win La Liga. But their team right now has been in such good form. They have 5 draws in a row, but they've started the season like a house on fire, losing only to Valencia in the league so far. Beyond that, their only other defeat this season was to Napoli in the Europa League at home. So this team is a threat and a worry for me to have to play against. Excuse me. Just double checking something. There we go. Their squad is a squad that I wouldn't want to ignore. There's a few former players in there who played in the Premier League. Nacho Monreal, David Silva, and they've got up front former United player Adjan Januzaj, who's really kicked on over there. Alex Ishak, he's a talent up front. Barret Tesha, he's a talent as well. Barret Tesha, I should say, he's someone to keep an eye on. He's an excellent attacker, such good nimble feet and confident in the box. Mikel Oyarzabal, who's one of Europe's great superstars of space, another one of Spain's next big things. William Jose and Christian Porto are their main men up front. Merkelans as well. We haven't got easy. Mika Marina, formerly of Newcastle. Isa Yaramendi, who played for Real Madrid, won the Champions League with Real Madrid. Someone to watch out for. They have a team. They have a really tough, really challenging team. And for them, I think, for us, this is not the tie I would have liked in this stage of the competition. But if we can beat Paris and Leipzig the way we've done in the competition so far, on paper, we should win this game. But in hindsight, will not be so easy. But it's a long time between now and February the 18th when we play them in Spain. So we shall see. Anoeta is a great ground, by the way, and I think we'll see fans by that time at the game. Sociedad did get far last season in this competition. Didn't get into this competition last season. They did play in the 2018 Europa League, but didn't get far in the last A2. So I'm keen to see what they'll be able to do here. The manager's name is Iman Alguacil. He's also a young manager. I think he's 49. He's still got plenty of time in his career. And he's only been at Sociedad all his life. So I think he's got a team there. He's got a very good team. And I think Oli can't underestimate that in any context. But a trip to Spain, not ideal for Manchester United at all. So, to wrap up, because I'm going to get a break now. I've been at it for almost 2 hours with you guys. And again, for those who's tuning in, I really appreciate it. Wolfsberger hosts Tottenham in the Europa League last 32. Then you have Dinamo Kiev versus Club Brugge. Manchester United are travelling to Spain to play Real Sociedad. Arsenal go to Portugal. They'll play Benfica. Red Star Belgrade will host AC Milan in the next stage of the Europa League. Royal Antwerp will take on Rangers, top of Scottish football right now. Slavia Prague hosts Leicester City. Salzburg versus Villarreal. Braga versus Roma. Krasnodar versus Dinamo Zagreb. BSC Young Boys versus Bayer Leverkusen. Molde versus Hoffenheim. Granada versus Napoli. Maccabi Tel Aviv versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Lille versus Ajax. And Olympiacos versus PSV Eindhoven. The ties will take place on the 18th of February and the 26th of February. The draw for the last 16 is the day after that. And then there's just the path to the final that's created from there. My word, I've been at it for a long time. All right, for those of you who tuned in, thank you so much for joining me. Before I leave you, I will round up the Champions League draw because it's only right for those who didn't get to see that. I'll be able to tell you who will play who in the Champions League. Alphabetical order, of course. Atalanta versus Real Madrid. Atletico versus Chelsea. Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain. Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Manchester City. Porto versus Juventus. Lazio versus Bayern Munich. RB Leipzig versus Liverpool. And Sevilla versus Borussia Dortmund. I got my flows is flowing again. Those are the ties in the last 16. Some really good ties. And I think we're in for a treat when we get back around to February. But we've got the Christmas period and all that coming up. In terms of the future here on our channel, we have the Sheffield United preview coming up later this week. Should be coming out Wednesday with the review on Thursday night, which will be live here on Twitter and on YouTube. So I'll be here for that as a review pundit. But more or less, a very interesting week. We have that, and then the Leeds coming up on Sunday before a massive game against Everton in the League Cup on the Wednesday week after that. So I'm sick. I'm tired. I'm trying not tired. I've got a bit of a headache. But finally, for all the United fans out there, that's our tie. Sociedad against Manchester United in the last 32 of the UEFA Europa League. And it's not an easy game, but we'll hopefully get through this and get to the next stage of the competition that I'm desperate for us to win. We'll do it or die trying, hopefully. Who knows? But so all of you, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you sticking with me this morning and into the early afternoon. I hope we'll see you very soon. And until the preview on Wednesday, I'll hopefully feel a lot better. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye, everyone. And make sure to like, subscribe, follow the Twitter feed as well. And share, and if you can, share this long-winded bit. Cut snippets out as long as you credit us when you do it. Till then, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Until then, bye-bye.